Good Saturday morning, and welcome to another exciting edition of Outdoors with Larry Ray on 790 The Bet. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited. Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome to Outdoors with Larry Ray. Every Saturday morning right here in Memphis, Tennessee from 9 to 10:30 on AM 790. And, of course, in Brownsville from 6 to 7:30 on AM 1520, 95.3 FM. And from 6:30 to 8 every Saturday morning on News Talk 101.5 in Jackson. And this is First Saturday, which means at least half of our duo is in the studio, and that's Dave Gabbert. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning.
And Dave is on the go as he usually is. He has 12 passports. I hope he has a real ID because he needs one. He and Rand are the travelers people I've ever known. Them and Willie Nelson.
I was nicknamed a roaming gnome.
A roaming gnome. Okay. All right. So I know you guys are traveling. Where are y'all? I mean, where are you doing?
We're coming back this early morning.
Yep.
Back to the house end that we've been up to, up at my son's place up in Kentucky.
That's what I thought.
Day,
okay, yeah.
It was my grandson's 17th birthday, so we went up.
Wow, 17th birthday. Yeah, those are...
Celebrated with him.
Yeah, well, this is May the 3rd. Hard to believe. And we have a special... we got two special guests right now. Of course, we got Guy Trebo, LarryRay.com. Good morning, Guy.
Morning, Larry.
There you go. Guy has to kind of speak up. But we have a special in-studio guest. Well, we got two, really. I mean, he just came along for the ride. But Marty Marbry is in studio. Good morning, Marty.
Good morning.
Oh, you sound good. You sound good.
Glad to be here in the studio.
Because Marty has had a life-changing experience, right? I mean, you folks know Marty is our voice of the West Tennessee tourism. We've used Marty since 1845. No, it wasn't 1845. We've used Marty for a long time through her wonderful 20-plus years with the state tourism, and now she is what's happened in your life, Marty?
I retired. I decided that I wanted to do some fun things, and so I retired, and Greg told me we are going to really start out retirement super fun.
Yes.
We're going to clean out the garage. And so I'm going back to work next week.
Cleaning out the garage. Oh, I don't know how that'll be, but you did bring Greg with you. Hey, Greg. Wave at us, Greg. Hey, Greg. Good to see you over there. And just to have Marty in the studio, because she's been such a valuable part of this show, really, for many years. Not only that, she's entertaining. People say I'm getting too hard on her sometimes. I cut her off and I say things and don't give her a chance to respond. But she's in the studio now. I mean, we've got to find her some music, Shelby. We got to get some kind of music to get Marty in the studio besides the old cha-cha-cha that we lost over the years. But Marty is going to continue. She's agreed to be part of this team as we go into 2025 here, and we'll utilize Marty because I think, and you might know this, Guy Trebo, that once in tourism, always in tourism. I mean, where have you not been in West Tennessee? I mean, have you done a 10 years? Have you gone back and checked your mileage and all the different? How many fairs have you been to? I
have been to more festivals and fairs, eaten more fried Oreos,
yes,
and corn dogs, everything that you can imagine. I really can't think of anywhere that I've not been. I have all 21 counties in West Tennessee and the 5 counties in the Middle Tennessee on the riverside.
Yeah, there you go. Don't give it away. We're hold it on, because we're going to give you a whole segment here in a little while. I'm going to keep you here for a while. We're not going to let you jump out just to come in like this. So I want you to know that Marty's in studio, and we will take pictures, so this will verify that Marty's here, and that really is what Greg looks like. And I mean, we've just seen, we haven't ever seen Greg, but we know he was out there. And how long y'all been married? I will ask you that.
We have been married 43 years.
You have to look around at him, and he's not 43 years this year. Okay. Well, you've only got 17 more to catch me. Okay, so you're working at it. But let me let you know what's going to happen today, because it's going to be a special show, as it is every week, what we call the fastest 90 minutes in outdoor radio and programming. First segment, we're going to talk to Roger Shields. He is the TWRA Wild Turkey Program Coordinator, Division of Wildlife and Forestry, and we've got the figures in as of Thursday, how many turkeys have been killed. So we're going to talk to Roger, then we're going to come back and devote a whole segment with Marty. And we might even bring Greg in to verify that this is Marty, okay? Because a lot of people said, we only have a voice a lot of times, but we're going to talk to Marty about maybe some of her favorite events that she's seen over the years, some of the unusual places you've been, and I know that, maybe the critters. We just had one of my favorite events. That was the world's biggest fish fry up at Paris. And do you know who was a grand marshal for the parade this year, Marty?
I do know.
Mr. Gary Mason with 2 R's. I got to put Gary in there because he and Cindy. Boy, thank you, Gary. Then we're going to come back and we're going to talk to Greg Hackney, one of our favorite professional bass fishermen, just won a big tournament. Greg out of Gonzales, Louisiana. Not only are we going to talk about him winning a National Professional Fishing League championship, but also about he was one of Ron Wong's favorite anglers. So it's going to kind of lead into the final part of today's show, bringing up Ron Wong. The funeral was yesterday. I was honored to be a part of that, to be one of the 4 speakers. We're going to talk to Ron's sister, Debbie Wong, and Ron's cousin, Peanut Quan, in the last 2 segments of the show. So we're going to kind of pay tribute to Ron since the funeral was yesterday, and we just want to let everybody know. I appreciate those who came and were heavily involved in the funeral, and some of the stories that were told. Peanut will tell you some of those because he's brought back the Redneck Riviera, I think. Asian Redneck Riviera. I think it came out of that, but I spoke on fishing, so we'll talk about that. But that's all on today's show. And I know, Dave, you guys have been busy. You've been out and about with some stuff. Where have you been lately?
Well, I've been here, there, and yonder, I guess. I'm trying to make it home in time today to hopefully make it to a trap shoot down at Henderson.
I know that. Have you been at Pickwick lately? Where were you?
And, several weeks ago, I was at Pickwick.
Yeah.
And, talking, down there, we like to camp, so we're down there below the dam down there at their wonderful little campground, and talked to several people from out of state that was camping, mainly coming in for that time of year in April, to catch white bass and the stripe out there, the bulls, the rockfish and stuff.
I've done that.
I'm talking to a gentleman from Missouri. He comes over every year, but he said it was a little slow.
Slow.
So,
okay. Well, he's from Missouri too. So
I think the water, was the water's been kind of strange this spring.
Well, we've had so much rain. I mean, I know you living in Lexington there, and you've had rain. My friends in Bolivar, McCrory's have had rain. We've had rain. It's just been so wet. The lakes have been up and down. The river's been up and down. And Pickwick is one of those places. Of course, the Selmer area was hit with the tornado.
Yes, and it was. I came through that area here about a week ago.
You did? Well,
and coming back, and
it's pretty bad. Yeah.
And it, the devastation that inside Selmer and cut across to LaGrange and that way, those people really suffered.
It's going to be a while for them, and our prayers still go out to all of those that have suffered. And our good friends in Arkansas have been blasted. I hope that's all out of the way, because in a couple of weeks I'm going to celebrate my birthday on the White River. Going to do some trout fishing up at Gaston's, and look forward to making that trip in the middle of the month of May and fish with Levi Mosier, a young guide up there that is from the same area of Arkansas that all my roots were, and that's Valonia, Arkansas. But so we're going to have lots of fun. And tell me, we got 2 minutes. What's going on with the website? Talk to me.
Can you even hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
Well, there's a good story this week about Greg Hackney,
Yes.
who is, of course, just won that tournament. We'll be talking to him very shortly.
Thank you. That's a good story.
Marty mentioned all the places, the festivals and everything, and there's a good one coming up through the aquarium.
Yeah, the Tennessee Aquarium.
There's a good story about this tiny little fish that they
Yeah.
rescued
Yes.
called
Yeah.
a laurel dace, I think it is.
Yes. Yeah. Something like that. But,
Something like that.
yeah.
But they're having a Spring City.
that's where it is.
Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're having a festival to raise funds.
To help bring that fish back. Now, I don't know
Yeah.
what the limit is on that fish. I don't think it'll make a fish fry, but
You'd have to have about $1 million.
you'd have to have about $1 million. But that, if you have not been to the Tennessee Aquarium and the IMAX theater over there, I know that we'll talk about that. So let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. We'll be right back.
Good Saturday morning, and welcome to another exciting edition of Outdoors with Larry Ray on 790 The Bet. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited. Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we roll into our 25th year on the air. And you guys know out there that one of my favorite seasons involves turkey hunting. That's why we devote a whole show on turkey hunting in not just the Mid-South, but nationwide. So I thought right now would be a great time. We're into May. We've got a few more days, about 3 weeks left of this season. And I said, well, let's talk to Roger Shields, because he is the TWRA Wild Turkey Program Coordinator, Division of Wildlife and Forestry, and get Roger on and see what it's looking like. So, Roger, I appreciate you short notice jumping in here with us. So give us kind of a synopsis of what's going on so far this year.
Well, thank you for the invite again, Larry. It's always a pleasure to be on with you guys. But, I mean, it's been a different year, I'll say that. We're down a little bit from what it's been the last couple of years.
Weather, Roger? I mean, we have had so much rain.
Yeah. It's been kind of a crazy, blustery, rainy, and it seems like it's just gotten really hot.
Oh, yes.
Quick this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure all of that has not helped. So our numbers are down a little bit, but I think we're still killing a few birds. So I think it's still moving along.
And I know, Roger, I was looking at ours from Region 1, 57-31 through Thursday, and you've got the state totals there. And I remember last year we were right on, pretty close to what we were in 23, if my memory comes back to me. And I know turkey hunting is a really valuable part of not just one of our big game hunts, but it's also an economic impact. I know it is in West Tennessee, and you know that from your position with us. So turkey hunting itself, to me, has had an explosion of what we wear, what we take, what we use. I mean, we've had some guys on that are part of the industry and things like that. So how important is turkey hunting to Tennessee?
Oh, man, it's huge. There are so many people that this is what they deer hunt, I think, to put meat in the freezer.
Yes.
But they turkey hunt because it's just such a passion. It's just they love it, and it's what they. I don't want to quite say live for, but it's almost to that point. It's just their most favorite thing to do. And
if the bird could smell, we never kill it. I think that Dave Gabbert's on the line with me. Dave, former TWRA for over 75 years, I think, whatever. And Dave, you're listening in from Lexington, where you live now. Former wildlife officer, former minister of propaganda for the TWRA is the way Dave used to call it. And I know where you're from. I was looking at them here. You're in Henderson County, Chester County, all up in that area right there. This is what I've got, Roger Shields. And Dave, you listen in. The two top counties through Thursday in Region 1. Region 1, for some reason, goes across the river. I never knew that why. But Weekly, 497. Henry, 443. So when you hear that, Dave, there was back in the days, we could even see a turkey.
When I went to work for the agency in 1983.
Yeah.
The next spring of '84, my first turkey season, they killed in Henderson County. They killed 3 birds.
3 birds. Okay.
Yep. and that deer season of the fall of '83, they killed 125 deer.
Oh, they did. Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Roger, you hear this.
Yeah.
And you've been in your job how long now, Roger?
About 6 years.
6 years. So you've seen this transition to how important it is. And I still tell people that Shelby Forest, we wouldn't have a turkey population if it wasn't for Shelby Forest. I mean, I've seen them. I was there when they would capture them, send them over to Middle Tennessee, and now can you send them back? I just don't know if you can drive through. Send us a few
I'll tell you what, as I was looking across the state, we've got these turkey management units now, and I was looking at the different units and comparing numbers this year versus in the past, and I was saying, statewide we're down, but honestly, over there in the West unit and the Midwest unit, your numbers are still actually better this year than the 5-year average.
That's good.
And they're down from the last couple years. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But the numbers are strong in the west part of the state, and it's actually the east part that things seem to be going south, the wrong direction.
Well, we never knew they had turkeys in the east, So when somebody tell me, I saw a turkey in Johnson City, give me a break.
Yeah,
You got it on video. There's cougars over there too, they say. I'm talking about, of course, the Mississippi River delegates a lot, and Dave Gabbert, you realize this, as far as floodwaters, and it's been up high, and we've closed lakes, and we've closed these different ramps and stuff like that. But to me, and I tell people like this, I'm middle-aged almost for a 164-year-old man, okay? And I still don't like to vacuum, but I can crawl 100 yards with my belly to turkey hunt. It's just something about the gobble that we hear. So the dates and things like that, and we were talking about with Roger before we went on the air, we've got a late day. It just feels late to me, May 25th. I don't know if they wanted to wait till after my birthday to shut it off or whatever, so I could be hunting on my birthday. But talk about how these season dates are set, Roger.
Well, the agency makes recommendations each year for hunting regulations, and we make these recommendations to the commission, the Tennessee Fish and Wildlife Commission.
Right.
They're the ones that actually set the season dates, the bag limits, all the hunting regulations. And so, sometimes they have different factors that they're taking into consideration as they make the final decisions. 2 years ago, we made a recommendation to move the season back toward the earlier part of April a little bit, and they shifted it some, but not quite as far as we were recommending.
Yeah.
But they did shift a little bit. This year we just had so many changes with turkey regulations between bag limits and season dates. We were like, just let's kind of let things settle a little bit, and we can start to kind of look at the data and then come back in another year or two with some other recommendations. But I think there was a interest among the commissioners. We've been seeing some really good early season harvest numbers.
Yeah.
The first couple weekends, the last 2 years have just been phenomenal. The weather had been great those years,
Yeah.
Including for the youth hunt, which some years back in the traditional start,
It was
especially over
rough.
on the east side of the state, you could be hunting and it could be like sleeting and
That's right.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So they, the commissioners we're all about trying to recruit new hunters and
Yeah.
keep this hunting tradition alive. Well, we need to be able to bring youth in and have a good experience for them. So
not run them off. Yeah.
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So they really like that, a little bit later start for the youth. We're just trying to find where the happy medium is,
Good luck on
And
that.
it might take us a little while to figure it out. But
I know you guys have also the turkey program. Talk about that, because you guys have really spent some time, Roger, and I know you're heavily involved in keeping up with trends and things along that line. Talk about how y'all have been able to, CWRA has been one of the forefronts of turkey programs and things like that, and I know you've been involved in that. Talk about that.
yeah. Well, there's a couple different directions that we've moved here recently. Mainly just trying to get better data, or not better data, but more data.
More data.
Yeah, because when you're limited in what you have to make decisions or you have to make recommendations, but the more information you bring in, the better the decisions or the recommendations you can make. So a lot of this has been toward just trying to bring in additional types of data. So a couple years ago, well, I should say, we've done a summer survey going back into the 80s, as soon as they started restoring turkeys. But it was always the staff, our agency staff, and maybe some of our partners and cooperators that would do the summer survey, counting how many turkeys they saw, how many poults they saw.
Yeah.
Well, and that's great. We get good data, but we just don't have staff everywhere on the landscape. And so we would have pockets that we didn't get a lot of data from. And so a couple of years ago, we opened that survey and invited the general public to help out and report sightings that they were getting too.
How's that been? I mean,
well, it's like doubled our observations, and so the amount of information we're getting has been wonderful. It'd be great if we could get even more. Especially, there's still some pockets that we don't get a lot of information.
Hear that, folks? He's talking to you right now.
Yeah,
I mean, and I don't think there's anybody. Well, duck hunters will tell me that, and the deer hunters do, but turkey hunters are very passionate and willing to share. In fact, what they've seen and what they want to see and things along that. And again, we're talking to Roger Shields. He is a TWRA Wild Turkey Program Coordinator, Division of Wildlife and Forestry, and we appreciate you taking time, Roger. So we got about 3 more weeks. So
we're at the midpoint.
Yeah, what are we looking at here?
Well, like I said, I don't know that we're going to quite reach where we've been in the past, but I think we're still shaping up to be a pretty good year.
Where are we now?
Over on your side.
Where are we statewide right now? You got any idea? What are we looking at?
Again, through the first of
through
Thursday,
the first,
it was about 21,500, give or take. So we're 21,566 reported. But, that's preliminary numbers, so
and I see on there when I look, folks. We only got a couple of minutes. You can go to TWRA. You can go to tnwildlife.org, or you can go to larryray.com. Guy Trebo has a lot of this information, and I even see on there that some people have killed a hen. I mean, that just blows my mind, okay? I mean...
last year the commission elected or voted to do away or protect all hens, even bearded hens, but I'm not sure everybody quite got the message.
I don't think so either. Well, Roger, we appreciate you, buddy, taking time to be with us, and we'll stay in touch and talk to you before the season's over, okay, man? All right?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Have a
good
great
luck.
weekend. Okay. Roger Shields, we appreciate it.
You know what? I always had a good source of data, talking in my county. The people I would talk to.
Yeah.
My rural postal carriers.
Oh,
because they were out there every day.
Yeah. And they
traveling around, talk to them and get information. And when they would say, then I would, go out and take a look in there and verify. But
there you go.
They always had some pretty reliable stuff.
Well, they are on the road all the time, Dave. Let's take a break, and she's stepping in. I wish we had her cha-cha music. We're going to find her some music. She has to have music. Marty Marbry is in studio. Brought her bodyguard with her. Greg's sitting over there, so he makes sure we don't say anything that aggravates. Let's take a break. Come right back, and we're going to talk West Tennessee tourism.
Good Saturday morning, and welcome to another exciting edition of Outdoors with Larry Ray on 790 The Bet. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited. Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. We kind of shuffle some chairs around here, and I'm trying to be on good behavior today because we do have special guest in with us. Excuse me, I'm getting choked up. There.
You didn't swallow your microphone, didn't you?
No, I didn't swallow my microphone, but it's been a while since I've been this close to Marty, and I want to make sure that everything is still okay because she normally, hides someplace, and we never know where she is, but she's already talking. Marty Marbry we're talking about, folks, here as we start this segment of Outdoors with Larry Ray, and Marty is known throughout West Tennessee, even across the river. They've heard about her, but no one knows her. But she can kind of sneak into town and try the fried pickles or what's the cotton candy like. But she has done a wonderful job on Outdoors with Larry Ray for over 20 years. I know that. I mean, when she started and we talked her into us, and of course, all the money she's made over the years. Greg, I didn't know if you knew that or not, but we had a deal with.
Don't tell all my secrets.
I'm not going to tell all our
secrets. Don't tell all my secrets.
But this was one of our favorite things, and when Marty announced her retirement from the state tourism division of tourism for over 20 years, and she sent me the information. I actually had it printed out, but I don't have a printer anymore. But anyway, it told me great news. It said, I'm pretty sure it said that. And that she would still be agreeable to be on this show once a month to talk West Tennessee tourism. And I kept waiting for the little, kicker. How much is it going to cost me? Okay, because we have such a great deal right now. But, Marty, thank you for being part of this. And I miss Ron Wong today.
I miss Ron very much.
Because we kind of bounced off Ron with the tourism. He'd been to most of the places you missed about, particularly places to eat and festivals and things like that. But Marty
if was food. Ron
had been there taking pictures, but she has agreed to do. And I know Dave Gabbert, you've been a part of this show for over 20 years, also.
Yeah. Well, I got news for Marty. She said she's retired, but when you don't retire, you just change jobs.
I'm finding that out, Dave.
Well, my problem is I'm not retired. I'm just tired. That's been part of my thing all these times. But thank you for doing it. And she's going to continue to do this. She's got her famous notebook right there with information, and we're going to let you roll. Here we go. I'm not going to mess you up or nothing in studio because I want you to come back anytime. I know we're scary.
I'm going to say that it has been such a blessing and a delight. I remember how we got together. You did a spotlight article for me for the Memphis Business Journal, I think it was.
Yeah.
And you said, hey, Marty, would you like to come on the show? And I'll let you talk 2 or 3 minutes tourism.
Yes.
And I'm like, whoo, 2 or 3 minutes. I bet I can turn that into 5 or 10.
And you did.
I did.
Yes.
And now here we go.
Yeah.
20 years down the road.
Well, it's a good team, I can tell you that. We lost our theme song. We're going to get her another theme song. Mr. Trebo, work on that for us, okay? But talk about what's going on right now. This is May, my favorite month, my birthday month.
It is your birthday month, and that's all I've got.
Okay.
That is it.
Tell us. It's my birthday? Come on now. We're all coming over to my house.
No, we have got tonight, guys, at the Orpheum.
Yes.
We have Alton Brown live with his show, Last Bite.
Okay.
It's an evening with the famed foodie, and he is talking about his decades in the food media.
Yeah.
He's going to share his favorite culinary hacks, sing funny food songs, offer a one-of-a-kind variety show you don't want to miss.
Okay.
So that's at the Orpheum.
Tonight. All right.
Tonight.
Okay.
May the 6th at the Orpheum. One of my all-time favorites, guys. Allison Krause in the Union Station.
She's come a long way.
Featuring Jerry Douglas.
The Dobro Man and Allison Krause singing those songs. I can remember when she first started, and and Union Station and the
Yeah.
group and everything like that.
Yeah, it's been nearly 4 decades.
That's hard to believe.
That is so hard to believe.
And has she changed? Her voice hasn't.
Her voice hasn't, and so who cares? if
Who
she
cares?
does? Who cares?
That's
You
right.
know,
Yeah.
the group has really upheld their legacy as one of the most influential and widely celebrated
It is.
acts in bluegrass and root
She
music.
sung with everybody now. I mean,
May the
duos. Okay, May the
you don't
6th.
want to be.
All right.
Okay, one more Orpheum, and I couldn't let this one go. May the 9th.
Yeah.
It's Bonnie Raitt live 2025 tour.
Yeah.
She's going to have with her special guest John Cleary
Yeah.
and the Absolute Monster Gentleman.
Yes. Yes.
So then May 10th.
May 10th.
Okay, I had to put this one in
What?
because all of you guys
Yeah.
have these amazing boats and y'all go out and you know y'all do all this.
Yeah.
Well, at Discovery Park of America,
All right.
it's the cardboard boat
It is.
regatta.
Scott Williams has been telling me about that.
Absolutely. You don't want
You
to
got to
miss
see
this.
that, buddy. I've seen them before, and you say, "It's cardboard." Yes.
Cardboard and duct tape.
Yeah, and duct
You know,
tape.
you don't want to miss this race.
Uh.
And, you know, it's the perfect time to brush off your design and building skills
Yeah.
for the ultimate water test.
Yes, it is.
You
Yeah.
guys have got it made. Y'all
Yeah.
have got the big boat.
Yes,
So let's
not
see what these guys.
Cardboard. Okay.
We've got May the 11th.
Yeah.
Very special day.
What?
It's Mother's Day.
Oh, it is.
Celebrate by mom by, you know, treating her to an amazing brunch or
Oh, that-
lunch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've got some great historic and fun places. The Peabody,
Yeah.
the guest house at Graceland.
Ooh.
Take mom out and let her have a little Elvis
I wish I
experience.
could. Yeah.
Magnolia Manor and Chapel in Humboldt. If you've not
I have
been there,
Yes.
amazing.
Yes, it is.
And then Brooke Shaw's Old Country Store in Jackson are
Yep.
just a few of the places that you can go. Then we have May 16th is the opening night of Rhythm on the Rails at Discovery Park of
That's
America.
a wonderful event too. Yeah.
Yes, it is. The
Yeah.
music series is one of the best in West Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're kicking it off with Amber Ray Dunn and Adam Wakefield
Yes.
and the Electric Band.
You need to go there, folks. If you have not been to Discovery Park of America, you need to discover
You have
because it
got
is a
to
jewel
go.
with
You have
up there.
got
yes.
to make the trip
Yes.
up there.
Yeah.
And then we've got the Memphis Showboats, who's going to be showing off at the
I hope
Liberty
so.
Bowl with several games this month.
Yeah.
So
They've actually won one now, so
They
they've turned
have.
the corner. So
they
Go
have.
show-
We're looking
Go
good.
boats. Go boats.
We're looking good.
Yeah.
May 24th through the 25th.
Whoa. What? Now you missed May 23rd.
Well, that's coming up.
Okay. I just want to
We're
make
jumping
sure.
around
You're
a little
you
this
missed my book.
morning.
Okay. All right.
May 24th to 25th
I'm sorry,
at the
Greg.
West Tennessee Delta Heritage Center.
That's
It's the Exit 56 Blues Fest.
Great place.
You've got to get to Brownsville and
Yes.
celebrate the tradition of the blues with great music and food.
Boy, I heard they had great crowds for the Bird Fest last weekend.
Oh, they did.
I heard they just Bob Ford and all the gang and Sonia and all the gang up there.
Yep.
That's just something you need to go to Brownsville. There's more than the minefield up there. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sonia will
Yes.
talk your ears off
Yes,
telling
you-
you all about it.
Yeah.
One of the things they're doing is
What?
an added treat. They've got a Corvette car show
Woo.
at
Okay.
at the Exit 56
Yeah,
Blues
yeah.
Fest. So you don't want to miss. Tell Sonia
Tell
that
Sonia.
Marty and Larry were talking
That's
about
right.
her.
Yeah.
And then we have got May the 5th through September the 5th. You're going to want to be
What?
at Main Street, Dyersburg, for picking
I've
at the
been there.
park.
I've been there. Yeah.
Yep. They are going to
Main
kick
Street,
the season
Dyersburg.
off with a bang, so you don't want to miss
May
it.
5th it starts. Okay, y'all.
That's it.
Yep.
May 4th through 10th.
All right.
It is one of my favorite
What?
festivals. I have many,
I bet you do. Yeah.
but it is the 87th annual West Tennessee Strawberry Festival.
Where's that going to be? I wonder.
It is in Humboldt.
It is in Humboldt.
It
Yes,
is
it
in
is.
Humboldt.
Yes.
It's a week full of entertainment, food.
Give me that date again. What's that date again for
It
that?
is May the 4th through the 10th.
Wow, that's coming up then.
It is
Yeah.
next week.
Oh, it is next week. Oh man,
It
my
really
wife's already
is.
made some jam, so she needs to go get some. All right,
Yep,
go ahead.
She needs to go.
Yep.
And then we've got the Buford Pusser Festival.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be held May the 22nd
Yep.
in Adamsville.
Yes.
It's a weekend full of live music, amusement rides, and this year
What?
they are doing a bus tour,
A bus tour.
exploring the movie sites from the sheriff's legendary.
Yeah, the
story.
legendary Buford Pusser. That's
The
right.
legendary.
Yeah, okay. A bus tour.
Is that not cool?
That's
I
cool.
think that
Hope
is
they
so
don't
cool to go
shoot
and
the tires out of it. But
and
that's
to,
I'm sorry. Okay.
to visit the sites.
Okay.
And then we've got May the 26th, Memorial Day celebration
Oh, yes.
and ceremony at Shiloh.
Yes.
You can bring your lawn chair
Been there.
and watch as they honor and remember the American service personnel.
Wonderful.
We have got May the 24th.
Yes.
You don't want to miss
What's that?
Sandberg's Fire on the Water,
Oh, I've
their
seen that too.
Memorial Day celebration.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the best fireworks
It is.
shows.
Yeah.
And then the entire month of May,
Yeah.
we all need to celebrate
What?
Larry Ray.
Oh.
It is the
Yeah.
birthday month, and so
No,
people
no.
are going to be coming in busloads.
They will be.
They will be
busloads.
coming in busloads.
Just won't have a driver, but they'll be coming in, So the bus will be unloading out there in front of the station.
That's
but
right.
we'll
And
find-
I will have to say,
What?
when I started doing the show,
Yes.
didn't really know a whole lot about fishing,
Or
hunting,
Larry Ray.
or Larry Ray. And
What have you learned?
I've learned that Larry loves tourism,
Yes.
but I have had some amazing teachers along the way.
Yeah.
Larry Ray, Jim Perry up in Henry County, Bob Keys.
Can we throw right in there real quick that Jim Perry's having health issues right now?
Yes, he is.
And we got a minute, but let's keep Jim and our good friend Steve McAdams.
Yes.
Just had back surgery, and I threw those in there. I know
Yes,
because
that's
we're both solid on our faith, Marty.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Love Jim Perry.
Yeah.
Gary Mason. We
Yeah.
mentioned Gary earlier.
Yeah.
Bob Keys.
Oh, the Bob. Yeah.
So many of them. Now, a lot of them, they like to stretch the truth. They
really?
did tell some fish
Oh
tales,
no.
but you all have been amazing mentors and teachers, and have let me have this time, and I'm so appreciative and
Well,
love
thank you,
doing
Marty.
it.
Thank you, Marty. All
You're
right.
welcome. And let me tell you,
What?
if you want to know more details,
Where do you go? Sorry.
you can go to each event that I mentioned, go to their individual website.
Yeah.
You can go to tnvacation.com,
I hope so.
or you can go to visit southwesttnn.com and find out all there is to do in
Thank you,
West
Marty.
Tennessee.
All right, Marty Marbry. It wasn't too bad, Greg. Good job, Greg. Thank you for coming. All right. Let's take a break and come right back on Outdoors with Larry. We're going to switch a little fishing gear now. We're going to let Marty and kind of slip out, but love you, Marty. Okay. We'll be right back.
Good Saturday morning, and welcome to another exciting edition of Outdoors with Larry Ray on 790 The Bet. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited. Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. And I got a message right there, Guy Trebo. If you can check that from Debbie Wong. We're trying to hook her up, and appreciate the guests that we had previous. And we're going to kind of switch gears here in the final part of the show as we kind of pay tribute to our late colleague, Ron Wong. But not only that, this segment I know would have been special for Ron because both Ron and myself have been a Greg Hackney fan for years. I'm not going to age Greg, but he knows me and Ron were senior citizens. But at the same time, I think we need to really let somebody step forward that knew Ron as a professional angler, and at the same time congratulate Greg on a recent victory in the NPFL championship that he won. So we got Greg Hackney on the line. You folks out there know Greg from Gonzales, Louisiana, and we had Greg on as part of our Bassmaster Classic preview early in the year. And Greg, you just mentioned that to me that this was just a hard take for not only me but a lot of you guys out there that knew Ron and really respected and loved him, right, Greg? I mean,
yeah, I'll be honest with you. I was blown away when I heard the news. I mean, I had just recently spoke with y'all, talked to Ron.
Yes.
You know, he was a little under the weather.
Yeah.
Like literally the day before.
Yes.
I spoke with y'all the day before we started practice at the Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just blown away. You know, we fished the Classic, and then I get word that I never saw him during – I always see Ron at the Classic.
Oh, yeah.
Always see him during media day.
Yeah.
And I just took for granted. I said, well, he's still a little under the weather, so he didn't make it. And then the next thing you know, I hear of his passing. I'm pretty blown away. Crazy thing, I have been around quite a long time in the tournament world, and, I've known Ron my entire career.
Yeah,
yeah. He will really be missed. I really will miss him. I don't, Ron and I speak every year. You know what I mean? Like he's
I know
just
what you
somebody
mean.
that regularly talk to, and he always studied the industry, knew what was going on top of everything, and he was definitely going to be missed.
Here, guy, you need this guy? Get in? Yeah, you might need that. Well, I know that, and we're talking to Guy Trebo, we're trying to get Ron's sister to come in next after Greg, and I know this, that Ron, he always hand selects you guys through to our preview show. And I guarantee you may be the most ones we've done, Greg. I mean, not only because Strike King, of course, that's part of they may not be here anymore, but they are. It just feels like part of us. And you've been a part of that team for a long time. But Ron would always include these 5 guys in the preview. And we all, I have to admit, Ron didn't want to show favoritism because he got down there with Samantha Gay or Deborah Hinkst or somebody else, and he let them do the interviews. Well, he'd do the camera and stuff like that. But he became part of what the Classic was all about, and that's what Chad Gay told us about. There was just a void, without seeing the little fella in his tennis shoes walking around with his microphone, and if you didn't set up right, he'd make you set up right. But he loved what he did, Greg, and I love
that. He loved the sport. He loved every part of it,
and he loved watching you, Greg. And I know that in your lifetime, hey, we've got a guest coming in here right now. All right, hey Debbie, we're on the air right now, so got you a chair. Sit down right there. We got Debbie Wong coming in, and she'll be able to, Greg, hear some of this. We're talking to Greg Hackney, Debbie, and Greg is one of our all-time top bass anglers. So let Debbie get in there. Yeah, you can sit right here, Debbie. Yeah, and you can listen. Yeah. Excuse us, Greg. We just lost a more important. We got a more important guest in there than you, Greg. Okay, I'm sorry. But anyway, we're talking to Greg Hackney right now, one of Ron Wong's favorite professional bass anglers, and to fix her up, Shelby, so she can hear. One of y'all help her so she can hear.
Okay, is this going on the left side?
Yeah, and you don't have to use that mic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Greg. We're gonna get her working in here and everything, but Greg, I know that you're coming off the big victory. That really had to solidify you. And tell us a little bit about the NPFL now.
The NPFL, the National Professional Fishing League, this is either their 5th, I should know this, but either their 5th or 6th year in existence. And, they were the only major tournament organization in 2025 that decided to basically just go back to old school fishing and ban the front-facing sonar technology. And that was – I had thought about fishing previously because they work around the other tournament organizations and do not conflict their events. And
That's right.
They make it possible for our guys to fish more. And that's really appealing to me. And then the other was they were getting rid of the technology. And I'm still and always will be a huge fan of the way I grew up bass fishing.
You're old school, Greg. Come on now.
Yes, I'm old school. And regardless of, where the new technology goes or whatever, I will always have a true love for the sport of fishing, and all the different techniques. And I think that's probably the only thing for me that, keeps me from being a fan of the front-facing sonar is it just really limits the techniques that you use to catch bass.
Yeah.
We don't see a lot of deep cranking anymore. We don't see a lot of, a lot of different stuff. And I love all parts of bass fishing, and they allow that.
Well, I think that's part. That sounds like Ron Wong to me. Ron's old school, the only man to ever two-time win the St. Jude Bass Classic. He did it by himself. There was before a lot of different things. And I know he would have been really happy if he win this tournament too, Greg. And I know that had to be a boost because 47 pounds, 11 ounces, and you win it by 17 pounds or so like that. Talk about that victory for you.
Well, actually, it was close. I actually only won by 9 ounces.
9 ounces, okay,
yeah.
All right, okay.
Yeah, 9 ounces. Yeah, it was a close.
That's close.
The weights were close. I led the first day of the event. I was second after the second day. I think maybe I was a pound and a half out of the lead after day 2, and then I actually caught my biggest bag, 17 pounds. The last day.
That's where it was. You caught the 17-pound bag on the last day, right? So,
yeah, the last day, and I'll be honest with you, it felt good. It felt as good as any win I've ever had. It's been a while since I've been in the winner's circle, and it definitely feels good. The funny thing is that Ron and I, we talked before the Classic, and he was pulling for me to win.
Oh, he was.
Because he knew I would be fishing.
Yeah.
Like I would just fish,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I did, and again, it was won by the new technology, but that's just kind of the world we live in right now, And I'm like I said, I still have a love for old school bass fishing, and so did Ron, and I like I said, he will really be missed. It'll just be different going forward, because he's always, any of the writers' camps we had, Ron was always there. The Classic, all major events. We talked, throughout the year. I'd always have a couple interviews with him, during the year.
We'd make sure that you would get on this show because Ron was part of this show twice a month. I used to call the second time BW. It was Bonus Wong. He would be in here, and you may be on the show as many as anybody, Greg. And I was counting the other day, and it was a great tribute to Ron's Friday at the funeral and the celebration of life for Ron. I know a lot of you guys were there in spirit. I could tell that. And I was checking on. I looked in my closet. And I had 13 shirts hanging in there that Ron had brought me back.
Oh, wow.
From fishing tournaments. And I was telling my wife, boy, you've done a lot of cleaning here just because of Ron. If I hadn't had those shirts. And I've got on one today. I've got a B&M shirt on today. But it was a part of it. So now what does this do for you, Greg, to get that little bounce in your step again, buddy?
Well, we're fixing to get on another long stint. I'm leaving.
That's right.
In a day, and
yes,
I got, I guess, 3 in a row. One at Lake Fork, one at the Sabine River, and we'll finish at Douglas on this next 3-week stint. So 2 Bassmaster and 1 MPFL, and I'll tell you, it does a lot. I'm still excited.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I'm excited about bass fishing. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
I do. I've been very blessed to get to do this for a living, and I don't take anything from that. I look forward to every day of it.
Well, I think everybody knows the Hack Attack, and Ron might have been one of those that instigated that. I don't know. Because I don't know. Of course, I covered the Classic for many years for the Memphis newspaper here. And then when me and Ron hooked up 15, 20 years ago, I said, man, I don't need to go to these places anymore. I got Ron Wong. Just give him a pair of tennis shoes and a shirt and let him go.
And he'll get. Yes, he would.
And he would do the press day. He looked so much forward to the press day, Greg, when he got to visit with you guys. and make videos. And, folks, you can still go to LarryRay.com. We'll try to hook up with some of those things. We got some stuff about Ron on there and a lot more we're going to have that we got taken from the funeral yesterday. But, Greg, thank you, buddy, for visiting with us and taking part in this show. And we'll stay in touch, buddy. We got your cell phone, okay?
Okay, call me anytime.
All right, buddy.
I appreciate it.
Safe travels, okay, man? All right.
All right, bye.
All right. Greg Hackney, the man from Gonzales, Louisiana, and one of Ron Wong's favorite. All right, let's take a break. Sister Debbie is in the room. And now I see this is definitely Ron's sister. I see her sitting next to me. Is that not right, Guy Trebo? This is Ron's sister, right? You can tell that. Sorry. All right, let's take a break, and we're going as far as we know. This is Debbie Quan coming right back. We'll be right back.
Good Saturday morning, and welcome to another exciting edition of Outdoors with Larry Ray on 790 The Bet. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited. Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. I feel like we're almost starting Outdoors with Larry Ray on this Saturday morning, the day after the celebration of life for our late colleague and friend, Ron Wong. And we're going to devote this, thanks to Greg Hackney, for leading into this segment, because Greg was one of Ron's favorite bass fishermen, old school fishermen. I think Peanut Quan will agree with that. Was Ron old school, Peanut? I mean,
he's ancient school.
He's ancient school. Right. Okay. That's, of course, this is Peanut Quan, Ron's cousin, and like I said, a brother by another mother. That was me with Ron. And Peanut, we've kind of got a special guest in Outdoors with Larry Ray on this Saturday morning. Folks, it was a wonderful tribute yesterday, a great celebration of life to our amazing friend Ron Wong. And now we see there is a much better looking side in the Wong family here. And we have Debbie Wong in with us this Saturday morning. Hey, Debbie.
Hey, thanks for having me here.
We've already shed some tears. Okay, we're going to shed a lot more. We shed tears yesterday. I know I did, and some of the other people did, folks. But thank you, Debbie. I mean, for visiting with us and kind of, because you were talking about, and Peanut will kind of put a cap on it, but you set up, and I was honored. Thank you for allowing me to be part of that team. But you kind of set it up with people that Ron related to. We never met till she, to the funeral yesterday, or the celebration. I ain't calling it funeral. The celebration yesterday. But we were all connected.
You guys were connected in a way that I had heard all these names in the past, even though I haven't lived here for so long.
Yeah.
But when Ron and I would talk, and he would talk about all of his adventures, where he was going,
yeah,
who he would see, always on the show with Larry Ray, going on to all these different charity events. And so all these names would kind of stick in my head, and I'm going like, okay. And, I figured out it's like, he was just everywhere, somewhere, every week.
He was.
And I think it wasn't until yesterday that it just really, hit me like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
That he had such a far outreach to so many people.
He did.
In so many different lives.
Yeah.
And different communities. And I'm just really honored to be sitting in this little studio that he would come to, that he would tell me, that he would
Twice
be here.
Twice a month.
Exactly. And so now it's kind of like it's full circle.
It is full circle.
Thank you guys for everything.
Yeah. Well, I know we had Ron Olson, of course, the legendary Ron Olson from our Odyssey family of stations here. And, of course, Ron knew all of Ron's charities and his love of fishing. And, of course, Ron fishes all the time on the Little Red River over there. Then you had Steve. And then Peanut, you brought it up, buddy. And I know that you and your cousin, our brother by another mother also, that you and Ron, and I've heard stories, and I heard a lot of them yesterday, and more. You know that and that's what we want. That's what we wanted to talk about, and including some really wonderful things that were announced yesterday too that we'll share later. But long way from selling potato chips.
Oh, yes, a long way.
Yeah.
As I said, there's so many stories, and everybody that's been around has got stories. I'd love to hear some of the other stories aside what I've just experienced with him. But, you know, like I said, he's a big Ole Miss fan, hotty-totty. He's involved with all the charities and everything he's done. He has touched everybody's life. And as I said yesterday, hey, he's not here, but he is here in spirit in everybody that knew him.
Yes.
Everybody's got a story. You know, when I see somebody else and I think of Ron on something that he's done or looked at the same way, or some subject comes up and I go, oh, that's Ron. And his legacy's going to live on. I mean, my kids will talk about him for the rest of their lives. My grandkids talk about him, and they'll talk about it for the rest of their lives.
Well, we want to hear from the sister. Let's hear from the sister here, Debbie.
Yes.
I mean, you've known him all of his life. Now, I mean,
yeah, I have. Actually, I'm the youngest.
I know you were.
And he's the oldest.
Yes, yeah.
And so, I mean, my parents had a grocery store when we were growing up.
Uh-huh.
And so we always worked that. I mean, because he was the oldest and stuff like that, he probably wasn't as round. But I do remember for him when, you know, went to Westwood and then he went to University of Memphis or Memphis State.
Memphis State. Played his saxophone.
Yes, he was also in the band at Westwood.
Yes.
And when he went to the Navy, I just remember it's just like, why is he going away?
Yeah.
Why does he have to leave?
Yeah.
But what I do remember with that is that he was actually a DJ on the ship's carrier.
Are you serious? Okay. Yeah.
And so I would send him a list of songs that you know that were current.
Yeah.
You know, going on at that time. And he would, you know, and I would just send him like little care packages. You know, just because he was in the Navy and stuff like that. But after he got out, yes, he had the potato chip route with Golden Flake.
Golden Flake, yeah.
Yeah, and then he also worked at this jewelry store.
He did.
That was off of Shelby Drive.
Yeah.
And I want to say that it was way before any of the things that you have right now.
Okay.
Or like a Best Buy or K Jewelers. But it was right there at the corner of Shelby Drive and
you might remember that, Peanut.
Elvis Presley.
Yeah, some of those places like that. But that's where he cut his teeth, and then, so to speak, got on to FedEx.
Yep, he was Mr. FedEx. I mean, he really hit his stride during his last job.
Yes.
And that was in the community relationships.
He's perfect.
That's when it was just like somebody opened up the floodgates for him.
Yeah, yeah.
And that just started his love of wanting to help people.
Volunteering.
I mean, giving his time to whatever he could.
Yeah.
And this Ole Miss thing, I don't know where that came out.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but here comes Peanut's got to bring. He brought it up at the funeral, and but
I still can't figure it out. I mean, I'm going like, dude, you never went there.
He loved the Grove. He loved the party down there. He loved being around people. He loved to cook for those people.
He was. I mean, it was just crazy. I mean, he would send me all these pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, this is great. This is great.
Ole Miss license plate even. You know, I mean, come
Everything
on.
was Ole Miss, and I'm sitting here going like, do you have another favorite color besides red and blue?
Well, again, we're talking to Debbie Wong, and we've got Peanut Quan on at the same time. And Peanut and his brother Harris, of course, grew up with Ron and became part of the family. And Peanut, of course, was in Peanut Craft Fishing Lures. Ron was no shortage of lures. And I told the people on the last segment with Greg Hackney that I counted in my closet, and I got 13 Ron Wong shirts that and I didn't even count the Outdoors of Larry Ray shirts, that he would get embroidery because he had that special little size, and he would try to put me in a small. I couldn't handle it, Ron. I'm not, I'm like, my waist is bigger than yours. But when it came down to it, about this fishing stuff, I mean, how did he get into?
It was through my father.
Your father?
My father was a big fisherman and stuff like that. And
okay.
So they would go fishing because we didn't leave.
What was your dad's name?
My dad's name is Hank.
Okay, Hank. And so
Hank and Margaret.
Okay, yeah.
And we had a grocery store on Horn Lake Road.
I knew that, yeah.
It's called H&M.
Okay.
And actually right across the street was a fire station that they built. And that's where I first met Carl Graham.
Oh, you met Carl. Yeah, and Carl was there yesterday, of course, and the stories that Carl have of his times with fishing with Ron and wherever it might be.
Yeah, so it all started with my dad, and from there, him and my dad would go fishing. They're fishing out right now.
They're fishing now. They are.
Along with Nick and everybody else up there.
Yeah, they're up there doing it because of the love for fishing. And I know, as I told everybody, and Peanut, you'll know this, he always told me there's more Wongs in the world than Smiths. You know, he put that, I don't know if there's more Quans or not, but I know there's more Wongs than Smith. And
we're the only Quans in Memphis. So
oh, you're the only ones. Yeah, I know that. Yeah. But his love of fishing, you knew that. And and when he won the St. Jude Bass Classic by himself in those days, that was a dangerous tournament twice because at blast off, you better get out of the way because Ron's going to run over you instead of going around you. You know, speed up out there. But what about that, Peanut? What do you remember about Ron as a young fisherman? He was pretty aggressive.
Oh,
he could have turned pro.
He could have. He could have. He'll find these little holes. I remember at Sardis where they have the St. Jude Classic.
Yeah.
He would find these holes. I don't know how he found them. We'd run back in there, and I go, "Where are you going?" And we're going through thickets and everything else, and we get back here, and it's like a whole lake by itself.
Yes.
Yeah. How do you find these? He goes, I've been exploring. I mean, he does his homework, and, it takes it to catch fish like that. And he spent his time on water, and he says, that's what I love. That's why I get at peace. I get my thoughts together when I'm on the water.
Well, I know he loved to teach people, Debbie, that kids especially became caretakers of some of these lakes. He took me to one of his lakes, Walnut Grove Lake, and it was about 103 that day, and, of course, he put me in the back of the boat, and he let me cast, and I did that twice, and he said, you ain't got a chance. But I want you to know, Peanut, it was over 100 on that lake. First cast, he catches a 4-pound bass. And I said, Ron, you got anything to drink? I'm just going to sit and watch you from here because you put him on the water, and it became another part of his life. And I know that I can't imagine him working in an office and doing the stuff, so that's why he did that. So we're going to take our first break right here, last break. We got one more break, right? Let's take this break. We're going to wrap this show up today as we pay tribute to my man, Ron Wong. We'll be right back.
Good Saturday morning, and welcome to another exciting edition of Outdoors with Larry Ray on 790 The Bet. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited. Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we roll into our 25th year on the air. And we're kind of closing out today's show. Yesterday we had the celebration of life for our late colleague and friend, Ron Wong, and we're really privileged to have his sister Debbie in studio with us today, along with my man Guy Trebo of LarryRay.com, and we've run a lot of stuff on the website noted to that, and then we've got his cousin and mother by another brother is Peanut, Quan, and we're going to let Peanut go because he's got 15, 20 jobs, and he's got to go change the sheets someplace or do something, change shoes or maybe. Well, he don't wear shoes, that's right. But anyway, Peanut, before we let you go, if you had, I'm going to put Peanut on the spot. Now, this is after the celebration of life yesterday. If you had one word to describe Ron Wong, what would that be?
Oh, Lord.
No, not "oh Lord." That's going to come up with something else now. Come on now. What would it be? I know what mine would be, okay? One word.
Jack of all trades. Jack of all trades.
I just talked to a guy about one word to describe Ron Wong. Now, this guy went to Skyview. You got to remember, he just gave me 4 words.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
Was he a jack of, was he all or what now? What?
Trades. Jack of all trades. He was everything.
He was everything. There you go, everything.
Everything. Yes.
Mine was persistence. Because if you didn't get his way, he's persistent. Okay?
Well,
you guys are putting it nicely.
No, I'm just saying.
Ron Wong way.
Yeah, because no one took pictures like Ron. And if you got out of line, he'd turn you around and take you out of the picture if you didn't get it right. But the one thing, Debbie, that we discovered in all of this was that Ron took more pictures of more people and less of himself.
Of course.
We had trouble, and I sent you a bunch of pictures, we had trouble finding Ron's pictures because he was always taking pictures of someone else. And I think that's a trade that he picked up over the years. The camera being part of his stuff. And Peanut, you know that. I mean, growing up, I had a Brownie camera or something like that. Then we all had the Polaroid. I can't imagine Ron going around with a Polaroid. Okay.
Well, this camera business didn't pick up until after he got retired, and he started doing this. So it wasn't.
He told me that. Yeah. It came up after he retired from FedEx.
Yep.
And started doing this.
Yep. And I was equally as surprised. I'm going.
Were you?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I mean, when he started telling me he was going to do all of these, he was going to be taking pictures and doing all of this.
Oh, yeah.
I said,
AutoZone, Liberty Bowl, all these places he would go to,
Yeah.
Make-A-Wish tournaments.
Yeah. So I was surprised to see all these pictures because I remember him starting out doing this, and I'm going like, oh, these are kind of good.
And and Peanut, you know that. Family pictures,
yes.
It's Christmas or whatever, man, Ron's going to take the pictures. And you had to get in perfect line. I know at the Tennessee Outdoors conventions, Ron would always take the picture of everybody but one. Him. He wasn't in the picture.
You'd have to
You don't
Photoshop
line up
him in.
right.
You don't line up right. Yeah, I think I was thrown out of 2 of those pictures, I think, because I was doing something I shouldn't have done. Of course, it's not unusual for me. But anyway, Peanut, we thank you for being with us. Great job Friday. We'll stay in touch down the road, buddy. I'm here for you. If you need another job, we'll find one for you at the station here, okay?
All right. I think I'm going to go back to sleep.
Go back to sleep.
This Saturday morning's killing me.
That
I think
is
I'm
true.
going back to sleep.
That is true. Well, find somebody. Get out of here. Bye, okay?
All right. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good one. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Bye.
All right. Peanut Quan, and today's question, do you know Peanut's real name? Okay. What are you looking at me for, guy?
I think I know the answer.
What is the answer, you think?
Is it Harrison?
No, Harris is his brother.
Harris? Okay.
And Paris.
Is it?
Paris is Peanut's real name.
And do you know how he got the name of Peanut?
He got the name. He told me that. No, something with the grocery store or something.
When he was at the grocery store.
Yeah.
And the 2 brothers actually, I mean, they're very similar in age.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
stuff like that, and they look very similar, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But Peanut was always dressed in the Peanut cartoons characters
Yes, yeah.
T-shirts. So whoever it was, and I think Peanut just stood. That's what.
So it became Peanut.
He became Peanut.
Well, and that's a lot better than Paris, I have to admit. So
I like the name Peanut better, too.
I think peanut butter. I keep thinking of there and everything, but appreciate Peanut taking time to be with us and appreciate Debbie joining with us. This is what we do every week, and it's fun. Guy does my website, LarryRay.com. You can find out all the information about what's been going on in the world, whatever it might be. Shelby McCall has been my producer here for, she says, she doesn't know. But anyway, 7 years maybe, I don't know. She keeps us going, but we do this because we love the outdoors, and we pay tribute to B&M Pole, Ducks Unlimited, and the TWRA for being our sponsors. But on this day, we're paying tribute to Ron and his family. And I know this has been a meaningful experience for you because you live, tell us where you live.
I live in San Francisco.
And Ron always talked about he was from the Delta, and everybody thought he meant Mississippi. And we had to explain to him he's from the California Delta and knew that. And how long have you lived out there?
I left Memphis in 87.
In 87,
right.
Okay,
right.
Yeah. But the family owned the grocery store.
We owned a grocery store. My parents moved to Memphis in 1960.
Yeah.
Had a grocery store.
Did they come from California, didn't
Yeah.
they? Okay.
My father's originally from Newcastle, California.
Okay.
And my mom was born in Akron, Ohio.
Akron, Ohio. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, I know I was honored to be at your mom's funeral.
We were
at the Little Flower church and everything, and got to learn a lot about her.
Yeah.
Ron always spoke highly of his family because he loved his family, and I know this has brought you closer to your roots and what he meant to the community.
Yes.
Have you been kind of blown away by what your brother did?
It's indescribable.
It is?
It's totally indescribable. I mean, I kind of had an idea, but I didn't realize to the extent.
Yeah.
And so I'm just deeply grateful for him to be my brother.
Yeah. And how much he loved to volunteer, Debbie. I mean, he when I called Sean McKeel, who won the PGA Championship in 2003, and I said, can you talk about Ron Wong on the radio? When? I mean, Ron never picked up a golf club in his life unless it was to stir up something I don't know to cook, but he was with the Make-A-Wish, and he did the Points of Life, and he did the St. Jude, things along that line. And that's got to rub off from mom and dad or something that he wanted to give back to the community. And I know how it wasn't the easiest because he talked to me about the days at Westwood.
It was. Did we have an easy life growing up?
No,
we didn't.
No.
We were a working family.
Yes.
And trying to make ends meet.
Yeah.
And my mom and dad raising a family and wanting to make sure that we got a better life, a better education, but also instilling you go about and you treat people the way that you would want to be treated.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so I think that just embodies Ron.
Yeah. I can't remember. Everybody's got a memory of Ron. I can't tell you, and I spoke about some of them yesterday, but everybody's got an opinion of Ron, but at the same time, not one of them can say anything bad about him as far as his love of what he did. Whether it was with FedEx, in community relations and all that kind of stuff. I got a friend in Texas. I think he lives in Texas now. His name is Jim Bledsoe. Jim worked with Ron at FedEx. And I think he's probably texted me or my wife more than anybody else about it because he's in Austin, Texas. Yet at the same time, he was here when Ron was at FedEx. And whether it's that or whatever it might be, it's kind of amazing. I used to pick up Ron when he'd get his oil changed at Chuck Hutton out there, and he wouldn't go anyplace else but Chuck Hutton to get his oil changed. I said, Ron, there's a lot cheaper place to get you. I owe it to the Hutton family. I'm going to be there, because I'm going to take it there.
He was loyal. He was loyal, and he was wanting to give back to the people that had helped him.
Yeah.
And so, the smaller business communities, the people that needed that extra oomph.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was always there to lend that hand. And he'd always be willing to say, okay, I can be there. Because I couldn't even remember when he would come to visit me in San Francisco. And I said, well, I've got this volunteer thing going on or whatever. And it was like, I'll go with you.
He would, wouldn't he?
He would.
Well, thank you, Debbie, for taking time to be with us today. I know that I'm going to continue to miss him because he'd always sit over there where Guy's sitting right now. And as I told people yesterday, no one could do a fishing report like Ron Wong.
Well, Larry,
no pencil, no pen, top of his head, just rolled it off. In 5 minutes, I knew more about fishing around here than you could find any place else.
Well, Larry, thanks for having me here.
Thank you very much. Let me tell you about next week. It'll be second Saturday, and, of course, we're going to kind of wrap up. I know I've got some special guests coming in next Saturday. Guys getting ready to make a big trip. We'll talk about that later down the road, but Guy's going to work. So as I say each and every week, it doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport. God bless the USA.